Hello my dear students, in today's class let us learn transportation of the lesson life process. So this is the part 3. In part 1 and part 2 we have studied about the digestive system, respiration and excretion. Actually in the textbook transportation is there next after the respiration. So the respiration and excretion part was very less compared to the transportation, that's why I had taken together. So in this portion I am explaining about the transportation. So in the beginning, so transportation is here is transporting the nutrients along with the oxygen through the blood to all the parts of the body. So about the heart, structure of the heart, pumping of the blood, and also how it pumps the blood, about the double circulation, about hemoglobin, the constituents present in the blood, all these things you are going to learn in this. Okay, so here in the life process, in the beginning in the textbook they have given about the hemoglobin percentage. So hemoglobin is a pigment which gives red color to the blood. Okay, so it is having the affinity with the oxygen, so it becomes oxyhemoglobin. So it absorbs the oxygen and transport it to all the parts of the body through the blood. So it is present in the blood, which is a pigment and gives red color also. And also the red color of the blood is due to the hemoglobin, presence of hemoglobin, which also carries oxygen. So what is the percentage of hemoglobin in male, female and in children they have given. So here the percentage of the male is in between 13.7 to 17.5, and in female 12 to 15.5, and in children 11 to 15 it is. So in between these range if it is there, so the percentage of hemoglobin will be correct. What will happen if the percentage of hemoglobin becomes less? We may feel tired, we may get giddiness. So all these problems will occur, and we will become weak. So depending upon that means weakness, we get the body will not be having the strength, so we will get weakness. So from by testing the percentage of the hemoglobin, if we go to the doctor and tell that we are finding it, that means we feel giddiness, or else somewhat tiredness if we feel. If we tell to the doctor, they will tell us to test the percentage of hemoglobin in the blood, so that from there we can also conclude whether it is the reason or not for that. So this is the percentage of hemoglobin in the male, female and children. So next come to the blood constituents. Which are the constituents present in the blood? So there are 4 constituents present in the blood, that is plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. Okay, so 4 constituents are present: plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. So they may ask which are the constituents are present in the blood, or which are the constituents of blood. So here and also its functions are very important, constituent of blood and its function. Okay, so let us see the first one, plasma. So what is the function of the plasma? It transport food, carbon dioxide and nitrogenous waste. The function of the plasma is it helps in transporting the food, carbon dioxide and nitrogenous waste. And what is the function of the RBC, that is red blood cells? It supplies oxygen to all the parts of the body, human body. So white blood cells fight against germs. That means it fights against the germs which comes to, if it comes to our body, and keep us healthy. Okay, now the fourth constituent is platelets. Platelets helps in clotting of the blood. Okay, platelets helps in clotting of the blood. So it clots the blood. So these are the constituent of the blood and these are the functions of the blood. Okay, so this you have to study. They may ask this in the exams. In some of the papers they have asked the function of and its constituent. In previous year papers, when they were giving master following, they were mixing and giving these things. So they may give in the multiple choice, or they may ask one more question here. So you have to learn this. Okay, so now they have given the structure of the human heart. Okay, this is the sectional view of the human heart. This is sectional view of the human heart. Let us see what are the structures, what are the parts present in the heart. Okay, so in human beings, our human body is having 4 chambered heart, not the 4 heart. Don't think that it is a 4 heart. four chambered heart. Four chambers are there in one heart. How many chambers are there? Four chambers are there in one heart. So four chambered heart. The heart is covered by a layer known as the pericardial layer. Pericardial layer or pericardium. So in that pericardial layer, there is a pericardial fluid. What is there? Pericardial fluid is there. It prevents the heart from the shock. Sometimes we get the shocking news or other things. From that shock, what the pericardial fluid will do? It prevents the shocks from pericardial fluid. So the heart is covered by the layer or protected by the layer called as the pericardial layer, which contains the pericardium as a fluid and which protects the heart from the shock. Okay. Okay, then next comes to the next part. So here I have written. So there are four chambers, I told already. See here, this is the first chamber. So I will write here in the red mark. I will show you. So this is the first chamber. This one. So this is the first chamber, which is called as right auricle. There are two upper auricles. I will write here. There are two upper auricles. See here, this one. So upper auricle. See, right auricle. This one and this one. Okay. So this one. Okay, I will show you this. So upper auricles, that is right auricle and left auricle. While writing the heart, from your face, you have a point of view, you have to see the right and left. So this is the right hand, so right part of the heart. This is the left hand, left part of the heart. Okay, by seeing this is right, you shouldn't write. Okay, this is the left part and this is the right part. Okay, see here, right auricle, left auricle. So upper part is auricle, the lower part is ventricle. So here you can say right auricle and right ventricle. This is the ventricle part. Left auricle and left ventricle. Right auricle, right ventricle. Left auricle, left ventricle. So these are the four chambers of the heart. Then comes to the next one. Here there are tricuspid valve. Here which valve is there? In between the auricle and the ventricle. In between the right auricle and the right ventricle, there is a tricuspid valve. Three valves are there. Tricuspid valve is there in between right auricle and right ventricle. And in between the left auricle and the left ventricle, there are two bicuspid valve. Bicuspid. So bicuspid valve is there. Here tricuspid valve is there. What is the function of the valve? Tricuspid and bicuspid valve. It prevents the backward flow of the blood. Okay, it prevents the backward flow of the blood. See here, the blood is coming from all the parts of the body to the right auricle and then to the ventricle. It may be having the chances of going it back. So that's why here it prevents these valves. What it will do? It prevents the backward flow of the water. Just a minute, I will check the camera. Okay. So here tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve. It prevents the backward flow of the blood. So here left auricle, here bicuspid valve I told. Bicuspid valve in between the left auricle and left ventricle. So it also prevents the backward flow of the blood that you have to write. So in between the auricles and ventricle there is a tricuspid and bicuspid valve. So what is the function of that valve? So it prevents the backward flow of the blood. Again, it shouldn't go backward. And also left part is having impure blood. This left part is there, no, it is written with a red color. Okay, I'll write it with a red color so that it indicates impure blood. So what do you mean by impure blood and the pure blood? Impure blood is nothing but the blood with the carbon dioxide. Okay. Pure blood means oxygenated blood. Blood with the oxygen is called pure blood, or oxygenated blood is called pure blood. If the blood contains the carbon dioxide, that is called impure blood. So here this right part of the heart is having impure blood. Right part of the heart is having what? Impure blood, and the left part of the heart is having pure blood. Okay. Left part is having pure blood, right part is having impure blood. So to separate the impure blood from the pure blood, there is a one valve. So okay, there is one wall. So that divides the impure blood from the pure blood. That wall is called as septum, which is very, very important. See this, here I have written, this is the wall. This is the wall. Okay. So this is the wall in which it is called as the septum. What is the function of the septum? Which helps in dividing the impure blood from the pure blood, or separate the impure blood from the pure blood. It is a wall. Okay, it is a septum is a dividing wall which separates impure blood from the pure blood. If this wall is not there, means everything impure and pure will get mixed. That's why there is a wall. Okay, and then the auricles are having thin walls compared to the thin walls compared to the ventricles. Auricles are having, so upper auricles. Auricles will be having what? Thin walls, valves compared to the ventricles. Why? Means here with the help of that means that ventricles has to forcibly push the pure blood to all the parts of the body. That's why, and also here left side means it has to push to the lungs at a time. That's why here thick part we can see. See here and all you can see the thick part. Here there is a thin part. Okay, so auricles are having the thin wall and ventricles are having thick wall. Why? If they ask, ventricles has to push the forcibly with a high pressure, it has to push the blood to all the parts of the body. That's why they are having what? Thick walls. That they will ask. And also the size of the auricles, you see. Size of the auricles are less compared to the size of the ventricles. So see here the size of the ventricle is, so in the diagram you can see. So size of the ventricle is more compared to the size of the auricle. Why? Means the same reason. Ventricle has to pump the blood to all the parts of the body. That's why it is having the it is bigger in size, big wall. Okay, then so tricuspid valve over right auricle. Okay, it is also having the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava at the right auricle. So at the right auricle, what is there? What will come and join to the right auricle means superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior above parts, inferior below part. Okay, from all the parts of the body impure blood will be collected. From the upper part of the body, superior vena cava will collect the impure blood. From the lower part, inferior vena cava collects the impure blood and pushes into the right auricle. Okay, here also there are here veins, pulmonary veins are there. Here superior, inferior vena cavas are there. So okay, then how does this works? Let us see how does it. This is a structure of the heart, and also there is aorta. We can see aorta here. Aorta, through aorta pure blood will pump from the heart to all the parts of the body. Aorta is the main one in which it carries pure blood to all the parts of the body through aorta only. Then pulmonary arteries are there and pulmonary veins are there. So from this ventricle, the blood will go to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. There exchange of gases takes place. It purifies the blood and it comes through the left auricle to the left auricle through the pulmonary veins. Auricles carry out, ventricles brings in. Okay, so that you will understand here. So here once again I will explain the structure of the heart. So the heart is covered by the outer layer known as a pericardium, which protects the heart. The pericardium contains the pericardial fluid, so that it protects the heart from the shock. Human heart is having the 4 chambers. The upper part are the 2 auricles and the lower part are the 2 ventricles. That is right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle, left ventricle. These are the 4 chambers of the heart. So right auricle, right ventricle carries the impure blood, left auricle, left ventricle carries pure blood, and in between the ventricles there is a separate dividing wall that is called septum. Auricles are separated from the ventricles with the help of the tricuspid and the bicuspid valve. The function of the tricuspid and bicuspid valve is to prevent the backward flow of the blood. And then it is having the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava which collects the impure blood to the right auricle. Then it is having auricles are smaller in size and ventricles are bigger in size, or here the ventricles are bigger in size, or the walls are thick. The walls of the ventricles are thick because it has to with high pressure it has to pump the blood to all the parts of the body. That's why the walls are thick. So these are the, and also aorta, there is one big valve is there, that is aorta, which carries pure blood to all the parts of the body. And there are pulmonary arteries and pulmonary vein. Pulmonary arteries carries impure blood to the lungs, and pulmonary vein carries pure blood to the heart again. Okay, so this is the structure of the heart. Now let us see how does it work. That means here transport and exchange of gases takes place. How does the transportation and the exchange of gases takes place? Let us see. Along with this diagram also I will explain, and also along with this diagram. Okay, in both the diagram I will explain. So from the beginning, let us see from all the parts of the body. That means from the upper part and from the lower part. So from all the parts of the body, from superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, the impure blood will collect from superior and inferior vena cava, and which transport it into the right auricle. The blood, impure blood from all the parts of the body through the vena cava comes to the right auricle. The first sentence, okay. Impure blood from all the part of the body will come to the right auricle through the vena cava. So right auricle contracts and pushes the impure blood to the right ventricle. Okay, this contract or shrinks, and the blood flows to the ventricle. From the ventricle through the pulmonary vein. From the ventricle through the pulmonary artery. See here, pulmonary artery. Through the pulmonary artery. From the right ventricle through the pulmonary arteries, it will go to the lungs. Where it will go? It will go to the blood, impure blood will go to the lungs. In the lungs, exchange of gases takes place. That means impure blood is going, and it is going with the carbon dioxide. In the lungs, what is there? Oxygen is there. So their exchange of gases takes place, and the blood carries oxygen. Now the blood exchanges the gases with the oxygen, and carbon dioxide will be given out here to the lungs to exhale. So now oxygenated blood will again come to the, it is not directly distributing from the lungs only, directly it is not distributing to all the parts of the body, that pure blood, oxygenated blood, but it is coming again back to what? Left auricle. It is again coming back, the pure blood is coming again back to the left auricle through the pulmonary vein. Okay, from the lungs through the pulmonary vein to the left auricle it is coming. When the left auricle contracts, the pure blood flows into the left ventricle. When the left ventricle contracts, it pushes the blood to all the parts of the body through aorta. This is aorta. So through all the part of the body, the blood flows through aorta. So how many times the blood comes here? From all the part of the body to here. From here to where does it goes? Lungs. Again from the lungs, where does it come? To the left part. And from here it will go to all the parts of the body. So totally 2 times the lungs will come. Totally how many times it comes? 2 times it comes. That's why it is called as double circulation. Why does the transportation is called as a double circulation? If they ask, the blood comes 2 times to the heart. That's why it is called as double circulation. Okay, hope you all are understanding. Again I will tell, see, from all the parts of the body, impure blood will go to the right auricle. Right auricle contracts and pushes the impure blood to the right ventricle. Right ventricle contracts and takes the blood or pump the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. Here the exchange of gases takes place. Blood will get purified and takes the oxygenated blood to the left auricle through the pulmonary vein. When it contracts, it comes to the left ventricle. When the left ventricle contracts, it pushes the blood through the aorta to all the parts of the body. In this way heart works. Okay, so the same only the schematic diagram write, and the parts you write means you write that one. What I explained now will come here. Here also once again in this schematic diagram I will explain. So see here the left side they have written with the blue, the right side they have written with the red color. Okay. So here blue color and red color I have okay, I have used both the colors. Don't get confused in the textbook you see. So here let us see here. You have to start from here. Okay, you have to learn this diagram. Suppose if they ask explain the transportation in human beings along with the diagram, if they ask, you have to write this. Explain the draw and explain the structure of the heart, if they ask, that you have to write. Okay, so now transportation, this is the transportation circulation of the blood for exchange of gases. Okay, carbon dioxide and oxygen is going to exchange here. So you have to start the sentence from here. You have to start the sentence from here, from the body. From all the parts of the body, what will come? Impure blood. From all the parts of the body, impure blood will come, and through the vena cava. I told what I told explained that only same with the other diagram. Okay. So section diagram. So from the body, impure blood from all the parts of the body will carry through vena cava to the right auricle. When the right auricle contracts, the blood, impure blood, comes to the right ventricle. When the right ventricle contracts, it passes the blood or pushes the blood through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. Here lungs, in the lungs, with the help of the blood capillaries, it exchanges the carbon dioxide and oxygen. That means the blood is having what? Carbon dioxide. Here lungs is having what? Oxygen. So blood gives the carbon dioxide, lung gives the oxygen. So from the lungs, carbon dioxide will be exhaled. Now here what is there? Pure blood, oxygenated blood is there. That oxygenated blood from the lungs, it comes through the pulmonary vein to the what? Left auricle. When the left auricle contracts, it comes to the left ventricle. The left ventricle contracts and pumps the blood through the aorta to all the parts of the body. They again, this arteries, here it comes as an artery. Arteries will divide again and becomes capillaries. Arteries divides and gives what? Capillaries. Again these capillaries join together and forms the veins. Okay, arteries, see here, arteries divides and forms the capillaries. Capillaries combine together forms the veins. Like that it happens here. So through the veins again, all the particles, all the impurities will collect. The same process will go on. So here from the right side to the lungs for purification. Again from the lungs to the right side, left side, and from left side of the heart to the to all the parts of the body through aorta. So these are the explanation regarding the circulation or the transportation. Okay, transportation in human beings or circulation of blood in human beings. So let us pass on to the next concept of this lesson. So 2-3 times if you practice, it will be easy. I will write the flow chart also. To conclude this, I will write the flow chart. With the help of the flow chart, from where to where it goes, the impure blood, pure blood, where to where it goes, I will write a simple flow chart here so that it will understand better for you. So okay, let me write the flow chart now. Okay, this is the flow chart that I have written for circulation or transportation of blood in human beings. So here see, impure blood from all the parts of the body will go to the right auricle, then to the right ventricle, then to the lungs, from the lungs to the left auricle, left ventricle, aorta, to all the parts of the body. This is the flow chart. Through what you can write here, through what also you can write. So impure blood from all the parts of the body through superior inferior vena cava, you can write there, and to the lungs from where it goes, pulmonary artery, and from the lungs to here where it goes, So from the pulmonary veins. So to the lungs, pulmonary artery. From the lungs, pulmonary vein. So like that you can write. This is a simple flow chart that helps you to remember from where it goes. Okay. Now let us pass on to the blood pressure. They have given about blood pressure. So you know BP they will tell. So it is measured with the help of the sphygmomanometer. It is an instrument to measure the blood pressure. Okay, sphygmomanometer is an instrument. So here you can see the systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Systolic and diastolic. So it should be, the systolic pressure should be 120 mm of Hg it seems, and diastolic will be 80 mm of Hg. So regarding that they have given. So about the blood pressure. Then come to the lymph. They have given some of the concepts regarding lymph. So what is lymph means? It is also another fluid which helps in transportation. So it is like the blood only. So along with the blood, which are the two fluids helps in transportation in blood and lymph you have to write. So apart from the blood, which is the other fluid which helps in transportation means lymph. Okay, helps in transportation, lymph. Lymph is the fluid which helps in transportation, you can write. What is the function of lymph? What are the function of lymph? They may ask. So what is lymph, and write its function. If they ask, you have to write. So function, it carries the digested and absorbed fat from the intestine. The first function is it carries the digested fat and absorbed fat from the intestine, and also it drains the excess of extracellular space back into the blood. Okay, so these are the function of what? Lymph. So all these points has been covered in circulation or transportation in human beings. So now next come to the circulation or transportation in plants, what they have given. Okay, so let me rub the board and let us pass on to the circulation of plants. And before that, see about the arteries and veins they have given. I have forgotten here. About the arteries and blood vessels they have given. Arteries, veins and capillaries. So there are three kinds of the blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. So we can write like this. We can write like this. See here, these are the arteries. These are the arteries. So I will write thick. So arteries, what are the difference between the arteries and veins if they ask? Arteries are thick. Arteries are thick because it has to carry from all the parts of the, it has to carry the blood to all the parts of the body. So veins are thick, thin. Veins are thin. This is vein. This is capillary. Okay, this is capillary. So arteries, veins and capillaries, these are the three kinds of the blood vessels. So here arteries are thick because it has to carry the blood to all the parts of the body. That's why it is thick. And what will happen? Arteries, when it carries over to all the parts of the body, afterwards it divides. What it will do? It divides itself and forms the capillaries. It divides itself, arterioles. They will tell the arterioles. Arteries becomes arterioles. Then arterioles becomes capillaries. Arterioles becomes capillaries. Again it will join as veins. Okay. Arteries divides and form the capillaries. Capillaries combine to form the veins. So like this it happens. What will happen if the capillaries gets damaged? If the capillary gets damaged, there they have given about the platelets. So the platelets which is present in the blood comes to the surface of the capillary and avoids clotting, and it clots the blood. So it avoid bleeding. It avoid bleeding. So that thing they have given about the arteries and veins. About the capillaries also they have given. Okay, so in the capillary, about platelets they have given what will happen if the capillary starts bleeding. So platelets helps in clotting the helps in clotting the blood and prevents it from bleeding. Okay, so arteries divides to form the arterioles, and then into the capillaries. Capillaries joins to form the veins. Okay, so this is about and arteries are thick and veins are thin. So this is about what? Blood vessels they have given. Let us pass on to the plants. Okay, now transportation in plants. So as we are having the blood vessels, that is arteries, capillaries, veins, or we are having the blood and the lymph which helps in transportation. Blood and lymph are the fluids which helps in transportation in human beings. Like that, in the same way, to the plants also there are some vessels, not the blood vessels, there are some vessels that is called as xylem and phloem. You might have learnt already in 8th and 9th standard. So xylem and phloem are the vessels which helps in carrying the food nutrients prepared by the plant and also in the dissolved form and also the water. Okay, so first let us see what will happen. So xylem is called as the water conducting tissue. Xylem is called as a water conducting tissue. Phloem is called as a food conducting tissue. Okay, food conducting vessel, or the xylem is the water conducting. So water conducting vessel, there are two kinds, xylem and phloem. So that you have to remember, xylem is for water, phloem is for transportation of food. Okay, so here what will happen? See, if we take the plant, these are the roots, you say, these are the roots. So with the help of the diffusion, the lower part of the leaves will get very easily the nutrients, minerals which is absorbed by the roots. Okay, the root absorb the water, minerals, everything that will be passed to the lower part of the leaves very easily through diffusion. But you might have seen the trees are very tall. So in the upper part of the tree, the leaves are there, buds will be there, flowers will be there, or fruits will be there. So to the upper part of the trees, it is very difficult to push the nutrients or the minerals or water with the help of the diffusion. It is not possible. So what happens here? The diffusion will not take place here. It will not work out here. What will happen? You might have listened about a transpiration. Transpiration occur in Kannada, Bashpa Visarjane they will tell. So transpiration occur in plants. You know, transpiration is nothing but excess of water will be early in the morning on the surface of the leaf. You have seen the droplets of water. So that is through transpiration it has excreted out, that means removed out. So here what will happen? So through the transpiration, the excess of water will be given out by this plant. So there will be continuous similar pressure will be there. Continuous similar pressure will be there here. So there are xylems and phloems here. There are xylems and phloems. So through the transpiration, what will happen? Through it loses excess of water. Excess of water will it loses. So what will happen? There will be the difference in the pressure. So before the transpiration, the pressure will be same. As soon as it removes the water, the pressure varies here and here. So the pressure becomes more here and the pressure becomes less here. You know the osmotic pressure. So with the help of that osmotic pressure, that pressure pushes the water and the minerals towards the upper side through the xylem. Okay. So to all the parts of the body, and the pressure which creates, that pressure is called as suction pressure or suction force. So the suction force will create due to the transpiration and it leads to the upward movement of the water. Okay. So in this way the water will flow through the suction force. The suction force creates with because of the transpiration. So that the explanation they have given. And next come to the phloem. So phloem with about the photosynthesis, it prepares the food. The food will be in the soluble form. So phloem, in the phloem also 4 parts are there. Xylem also 4 parts are there. Xylem, parenchyma, xylem fibers, tracheids and vessels. These are the 4 parts of the xylem. Even in the phloem also, phloem, parenchyma, phloem fibers, sieve tubes, companion cells, 4 parts. Okay, sieve tube, companion cells, phloem, parenchyma, phloem fibers. Here xylem, xylem parenchyma, xylem fibers, tracheids and vessels. These are the 4 parts of xylem. These are the 4 parts of the phloem. So among that, sieve tube of the phloem helps in transporting the dissolved food particles. Food particles will be prepared by this plant only with the help of the photosynthesis. So from that food particles in the dissolved form will be sent to all the part of the body. Okay, that process is called translocation. What is translocation and where does it occur? This is very important. Suction force and translocation is very important. When does the suction force created? Suction force is the force which is created because of the difference in the pressure, that pressure created by the transpiration. Okay, so translocation is the process in which the dissolved photosynthetic food will be transported to all the part of the body. Okay, translocation. So this one they have given about the transportation in plant, how with the help of the xylem and the phloem vessels it transport food. So till now you have learnt about the transportation in plant, transportation in human beings you have learnt. So keep watching, continue learning and subscribe the channel. So if you know Kannada medium students also, you tell them to see my Kannada lessons. So it is there in the YouTube. If you click Rupa TP, you will get either the Kannada or the English medium lesson along with the notes. Some of the notes I have given, and also reduced syllabus blueprint. That means this year's blueprint I have given. So thank you for watching.